I love eating healthy food, but sometimes it's just a little hard as a mom. My daughter doesn't like to eat everything I want to eat every day, and I don't really want to eat what she wants to eat every day. So what I often do is just I meal prep on Sundays a few meals that only I like and no one else in the family wants, because everyone else loves a lot of carbs and spaghetti and potatoes, which I totally love. But if I eat that every single day, I just don't feel so good. So here are some things that I meal prepped for this week. I try to buy locally and I try to buy what is available in our farmer's market. So what I had on hand this time was just some white cabbage, chopped it up along with some leeks, and I just sauteed it in a pan with a little bit of olive oil. Let it get a little bit soft, and then when it is soft, I just put a can of chopped tomatoes on there, let it simmer a little bit of salt and some thyme, and it really makes for a great meal. It's quick and it's also yummy. I think the tomatoes give it some acidity, the cabbage gives it a little bit of bite, and the leeks give it a little bit of like that nice savory flavor. And I love that as a really easy 3-ingredient meal. As a side, I love having millet sometimes. I don't eat it a lot, but it's a great alternative for pasta or rice or potatoes, and it's also filling. It didn't have any quinoa, but millet is really awesome. All you have to do is cook it up with water. The ratio is 1 part millet, 3 parts water. You boil it up, let it simmer for 10 minutes, then you turn off the heat and just put it aside and just let it sit for another 10 to 15 minutes, and it's nice and soft. That goes for me. That is a really nice alternative for other carb sides. It's not that well known in Northern America or in Europe, but in other parts of the world, it is a staple food. Another thing I like to do is to just chop up or just cut up a head of lettuce so it's available. Also, it stays fresh a lot longer. Usually when I buy it, I just tear the leaves off and I wash it and I tear it into small pieces, and then I put it in an airtight container. I love those containers. They're made of plastic. I got them at Walmart a few years ago, and they're so great for keeping lettuce fresh for like up to a week. That way, during the week, when I want to have a side dish or want to just have a salad, it's very easily accessible. All I put on there is just some oil and vinegar and some salt and pepper and a little bit of herbs, and that's really easy enough. Just top it with that. When I was in Spain and Italy, that's really how they always dress their salads. They don't really make separate salad dressings. They just give you oil, vinegar, salt, and pepper, and that's all. Another thing I like to prepare for a snack and for breakfast when I don't do intermittent fasting, which I do most of the time. I do intermittent fasting almost every day, but on the weekends or sometimes when I feel like I'm working a lot, I'm getting up really early. Sometimes I like to throw in some breakfast, and I like to make some chia pudding. And in order to make my chia pudding, I first of all make some nut milk. I don't just make almond milk, I like to mix up the nuts. So I like taking cashews, almonds, and pecans. I pre-soak them along with a couple of dates. Let them sit in warm water for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then put it all in a blender, blend it up really well, and then put it through like a cheesecloth, or I have one of those baggies that I also use to buy my produce. It's perfect for that. Let the liquid come out and wring it out, and that is a really delicious nut milk. You can add a little bit of maple syrup if you want to have some sweetness to it. You can also add a little bit of vanilla. It is the best nut milk. It's my favorite. And in order to make my chia pudding, I just put 2 to 3 teaspoons of chia seeds in a little glass, and then I put some of the nut milk on there. And then I can make all kinds of varieties. This time I had some strawberries available and some frozen raspberries. just put them in there. When I do the raspberries, and I like to put some nuts also in there. And with the raspberries, I think coconut also goes well with that. You could just put those in the fridge and they stay fresh up to 2 or 3 days. I don't recommend meal prepping for more than 3 days because first of all, after 3 days, things get old. And second of all, it's not really that fresh anymore. And I just don't like the thought of something that I cooked 4 or 5 days ago. It's kind of on the verge of not being that fresh anymore. So I only meal prep max for like 3 days to come when it comes to like cooked food. And one other thing I really love is making my own granola. Also when I want to have a snack that I want to top with something, or sometimes for breakfast. It was time to make some more granola this time. I just put the dry ingredients together and I really put in there whatever I have in my house. Oats is always, like rolled oats or whatever oats you have is the basis of it all. But then I also like to put some puffed quinoa in there, or whatever other grains I have, whatever nuts I have, and just mix the dry ingredients. And then as the wet ingredients, I like to mix butter and coconut oil. You can use only coconut oil if you want, or you can use only butter. I like to mix them. I think it gives it a nice consistency. I put some vanilla in there, I put the maple syrup in there, and I just put the wet over the dry. Of course, you can add some spices. I love cinnamon and cardamom and some ginger, some ground ginger. It gives it a little bit of a kick. Just mix it up well, spread it out on a baking sheet, and that makes a great granola. Just be careful that it doesn't burn. But it's really foolproof. It's very easy to make, and I have a few more recipes about how to make different granolas. I will put the links below. I have a coconut granola and a pumpkin granola that I made recipes for before. And then lastly, of course, I cut up fruit. This time we are starting to have some strawberries. The seasoning is starting, and when I saw the strawberries, I was like, I think I can try to buy some because they're starting to taste good, because they're not coming from way far away. They're actually coming from Europe, and so these were really delicious actually. And so cutting up whatever fruit I have. I love grapes. They're like anything that you can just grab and put in your mouth. It's so much better when you have the munchies to grab a piece of fruit than, I don't know, chocolate or something. And I have not eaten sweet stuff for a really long time, other than maybe a couple times a piece of cake when someone, like had baked a cake for a birthday or something. Of course, during Corona, there's no birthday parties really going on. But this is my meal prep that I do sometimes throughout the week. I don't always meal prep, but I felt like it was time again because lately I've been eating a lot of stuff that everyone else wanted to eat, and I just felt like it's not so good for me. So if you're also a mom who wants to eat better, but your family isn't exactly on the same side, doesn't like the same stuff and they don't want to eat the same things, and I just think it's really worth it to take up like an hour on a Sunday and prepare some stuff. Second of all, of course, I work from home, and so for me it's really easy then, then I don't have to cook 2 different things, because then I have to cook for the family and something separately for me. I can just make an easy meal for the family. Spaghetti is easy, mashed potatoes is really easy, and then I can very easily just pop in my cooked meal in the microwave, and I don't know, I've been feeling a lot better. Let me know in the comments if you feel like you need to eat different. Do you eat the same thing that your family always eats, or do you eat differently? It's really hard when everyone wants to eat different things, but I think sometimes, not everybody is the same, and not everyone needs the same, and especially kids, they sometimes want and need different stuff, and whatever you may need at this time, it's really worth it to just go ahead and spend a little bit of time so you are going to have good food. Thank you for watching. Have a most wonderful day. I hope to see you soon. And until next time, keep it simple and stay healthy.